And good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's Satsang meditation. It's all wonderful to have you here. And I will get started by saying the usual things that I say in the beginning, and allow people to have time to come on into the room and whatnot, any latecomers as we call them. But as we know, everyone comes in right on time. This week, if you have a hard time seeing me on webcam, that's simply just because I've got a candle lit right now. We're under severe thunderstorm watch, so I'm just using candlelight tonight. I'm not big on lights anyways, as far as electrical lights. I'm a candle person. So anyway, with that said, the way that our evening works here in our Ascension group meditation is I will channel through what is coming through related to the topic that Spirit, Source, God, Master Artist has given to me. And then from there we will go right into a meditation. And then from there we will open it up to the Satsang discussion part of the evening, in which you can feel free to share your experiences from the meditation, or if you have any spiritual questions related to what channels through, or any spiritual questions at all, you can bring them in at that time. This is a sacred and safe and comfortable space, so whatever is said in complete love and light and unconditional love and free from judgment. We are free from judging anyone here. We are simply allowing everyone to speak what it is their truth and the truth of Source within them as it's coming through to them, and to honor that, free from judgment. And during the channeling portion and also the meditation, I will be free from reading the chat, simply because it interferes with what energy is going on, and kind of becomes a bit of a distraction. So with that said, this week, this topic that seemed to come through in a burst of inspiration last evening and on through into the morning hours is that which you are seeking is seeking you. And you are your own lover. And how can you be your own lover? And what your first relationship is. And last evening I was inspired because of there's a lot of energies going on, and I think Rianne was the one who made reference to this earlier, asking me before we got on starting the meditation about there's a lot of energies going on right now, a lot of extremes, and often God, Source, Spirit comes through to me with messages through song. And so the song Billy Joel's Darling, I Don't Know Why I Go to Extremes was coming through just at the moment that the comment was being said. And with that being said, there is a lot of extreme energies going on right now. There's a lot of extreme shifts, people going through a lot of emotions. I'm shifting through some emotional things as well, letting go of things that no longer serve me in my life personally. And so I know all of you are going through the same thing. We're all in this shift together. No matter how enlightened we are as spiritual beings, we are all in this shift together. And so we're all going through, some extreme highs and lows in the human experience. And that's why we're here. We are here to experience what it is in physical form that we are unable to experience in spirit. And what is meant by that is that on what we call the other side, or the spiritual realm, we have what is known as just what is. Okay, there is no emotions per se of anger or sadness or fear or anything of that nature. There's just ecstatic bliss, and there's joy, and there's constant soul evolution and creation on the other side. I myself have personally experienced 11 near-death experiences in this life, and so I have been on the other side, and I have been on the spiritual realms, and I do have a unique connection with Source because of it, and I've seen what the other side is like. And I've come back to share that, and that's part of my gifts here, in being who I am. And so in the spiritual realm, we have this, and those things of, pain and fear and all of those other experiences and earthly love is what we come here to experience in physical form. Our God essence is to be shining forth during this whole process. And last week in meditation, we talked about and did a meditation about loving yourself. From within that, it comes the relationship with Source, and it's intermixed with that, because we are always connected with Source. The illusion is that we are separate, from Source, God, Spirit, whatsoever you so choose to call this energy that we are. So how can we be separate from that of which we already are? We are this love. And so our first and foremost lover in relationship actually is to be God, is to be Source. And I use these words, intermixing them, because they are, different names for the same thing. We can say Creator, we can say all that is, the Master Artist, Source, Spirit, Love, whatsoever you so choose to call this. And we are to be lovers with our own being first and foremost, and then interrelated with that is being lovers with the divine, with Source, with this energy essence of who we are. And within that, our meditation this evening is going to involve around being that lover, being that essence of relationship, because we are meant to have other relationships here on this earth, but our first relationship is with God, and being all one. We often sometimes call that being alone. Being alone is different than being lonely. Being alone simply means being all one, understanding that we are connected to Source always, that there is no separation. And within the infinite layers of that, there is no separation from God, there is no separation from each other, and there is no separation from anything that it is that you desire to create in your life. You are simply to be who you are, which is this love, in whatever form it manifests. And so within that, this morning, very early hours of the morning, as I was going through my extreme shifts, in releasing that which no longer serves us, in particular with someone in my life. Interestingly enough, just before I crashed and went to sleep, I had text messaged this person, and it said, "God is my lover." And I had messaged him a few other things related to it, because this person who's been in my life has sought to ignore me and provide conditions in my life with him as to who I am to be, and who we are relating to one another in a relationship of some sort. And so from that, where I come from is from a source of sharing my whole perfect and completeness with him and with all. And there's a beautiful quote that Neil Donald Walsh has, that he speaks about this in relationships, and how we are to be that essence of relationship in relating ships, right? Or ships of relation with one another. And it also applies to our relationship with God, with Source, as well. And I would like to read that to you. I'm just going to see if I can pull it up here, because I actually forgot to have it open before I got it here. But this essence is having to do with who we are in relationship with God, in relationship with ourself, and relationship with all. And this quote says this: "It is only through your relationship with other people, places, and events that you can even exist. Relationship is the most important experience in our lives. Without it, we are nothing, literally. Relationship is the only experience in life that brings you an experience of yourself in life. Not only do I know myself out of my relationship with you, but I literally define myself as well. I can only see in me what I see in you. Relationships that are based in real love, a love that is true, are relationships that are totally and completely free. Freedom is the essence of love. When we love one another, we never seek to limit or restrict them in any way whatsoever. Love does not limit, does not own, does not hold in, but expands, lets go, and releases the grandest part of who all of us are. The purpose of relationship is to decide what part of yourself you'd like to see show up, not what part of another you can capture and hold. The purpose of relationships is not to have another who might complete you, but to have another with whom you might share your completeness. So that quote is from Neale Donald Walsch, and it's very much the essence of who we are in relating with our own being, and also with God, with Source, as our lover, and also with a lover romantically speaking, and within all of our relationships. And so, as we begin this meditation this evening, I'm going to read to you now what birthed through me from that text message. It started to incubate within me as I spoke of last week, how as I drift off to sleep, I usually have thoughts of love and gratitude and of that sort. And I had this mantra, if you will, of God is my lover within me, and it just kind of incubated within me overnight as I was sleeping, and I awoke this morning to this burst of inspiration in the fact of understanding that maybe sometimes we are free from needing a relationship in the sense of a romantic relationship, that we're to share our love with everyone, that we can choose to have a romantic relationship and be in that singular sacred path if we so choose. However, we don't necessarily have to, that our first and foremost lover and our first and foremost relationship besides the one within is with God, Source, Spirit. And so from that came this prose. And so as I'm reading this prose, I will start reading the prose, and then we will slip into the meditation from there. And so if you can just start to get comfortable in a place that you are feeling, just comfortable and relaxed, and just start taking some nice deep breaths, and just be in this space of total openness and listening as I read this prose. And also be aware that other words can be substituted, be in place of God. When I say God, it can also mean whatever you call God. Love, Source, Spirit, Master Artist, all that is. And so on. God is my lover. God allows me to be who I am, who I truly am, freely, without judgment, without belittling and ridiculing. God allows me to be free, to dance, to shine, to follow my heart freely, free from boundaries and limitations, free from conditions of if I behave this way or that, then God will love me. Rather, God loves me unconditionally, sees me as perfection, allows my visions, dreams, and creations to flow through me effortlessly, without judging me. God is free from calling me delusional for such visions, dreams, and creations. God is free from saying I cannot sing with him or her. God is free from ignoring me or withholding his or her love from me ever, no matter what I say or do or act or be. God is free from blocking me or saying I cannot be with you because of a mistake you've made. God sees those mistakes as free from being mistakes, just simply choices that I can choose again and again and again. And still, God cherishes me, honors me for all I am, and all I choose to be, whatever that is, in each moment. God holds me, loves me, protects me, provides for me, infinitely. I can create whatsoever I choose of God's love pouring through me in divine creation, and it is beloved by God always. God says, "You are my beloved, within whom I am well pleased." God says I can have my heart's desire. God reminds me in each moment of who I am, which is God, which is love. With God as my lover, I shall not want. I shall not seek. I shall just be. I am love. I am light. I am all that is. I am whole, perfect, complete, and beautiful simply as I am. And I desire no other. And I shall be in service to, through, and with God, giving, simply giving, as God gives, always, in all ways. I am alone, as in all one. I am God's lover, and God's lover is me. And so within that, just keep focusing on your deep breaths, breathing in that love of God, of Source, of all that is encompassed within you. Just focus on your breath and see you as this glowing being of light, as God's beloved. See God holding you right now. See Source embracing you, caressing you in the most beautiful and divine love. Feel that you are completely loved, that this Source is in you and within you. There is no separation. See yourself sitting by some form of water, whether it be the ocean or the shore of a lake or a stream or a river. Just see yourself sitting there with your beloved, with God, with Source. See him or her holding you. What is God saying to you in this moment? What message does God have for you? Perhaps God is saying, I love you. Perhaps it's a message of something you are to create, or an experience coming forth to you, a calling within you. Whatever message that Source has for you in this moment, just allow it to come through as that Source is holding you in their loving arms right now and just caressing you. Feel the caress on your hair, perhaps a kiss on the forehead, the touch on your cheek. Feel how much you are loved by Source. The Spirit of God is within you and with you always, never separate, always together, all one. Just let God speak to you. Let love speak to you. What is love saying right now in this moment to you? Feel that love permeating you, your entire being, until it completely lights up. Such joy and bliss, and such peace and calmness at the same moment. Knowing that the water that's flowing by you, however its form is representative of the God essence of who you are. You are this water. And allow God, as God is holding you, and allow this water that is beside you to wash clean any pain, any hurts, any highs and lows of emotions that you've been experiencing. Release those into the water. Wash them clean, just as if you would wash your laundry. And see the only thing rising up out of this love and into your heart in this moment is God's love. The love of Source. You are held in this love. You are this love. And anything else that is hurting, that's in pain or in fear, is simply washed clean now, to where all that remains is peace. All that remains is love. All that remains is you and God, your lover. For God sees all that you've done, all that you are, and is pleased with it all, regardless of what it is. Beautiful creation that you are. And see yourself now rise with God. Take God's hand. Let love lead you into this water. Immerse yourself in this water with God. Swim in this sea of love. Feel how good it feels. How light and refreshing. In any last remnants of fear or doubt or worry, as you are immersed in this water of love, this sea of love, it all washes clean now, purifies, just bathing in this sea of love. See yourself playing and dancing in the water now, playing with God. For God is fun too, and is light. Dance and play with God as the little inner child, as who you are of this awe and wonder. Splash around, even give God a splash, and watch how God laughs and splashes you back. Be light now, be love now, be laughter and play. Remember the essence of who you are in this sea of love. As God's lover, He likes to play with you, make you laugh, make your heart sing. And as you're splashing about and playing with God, ask God what it is that He or she would like most to have come through you now in who you are to be on this earth. And watch God light up your heart and make you sing your song. For we all have a beautiful song to sing. Let love light up your heart. Let Source light up your heart right now. Feel that breath of light to make your heart sing, that calling within you of who you really are. Maybe you even see yourself singing with God right now, a spirit. Sing your song. Let your heart free. God doesn't mind. God loves to hear you sing. Sing your song, beautiful one. Sing your song. And see Source take you in His arms and embrace you in the water of love, that sea of love, and just hug you and hold you in laughter and kiss you and embrace you. Feel that essence. Feel God saying to you in this moment, I love you. You are my beloved, within whom I am well pleased. Hear God say to you now, go forth and shine your light. And see God now simply fade into a mist that fills your heart and enters your heart and lights up your whole being as you stand in this sea of love. And slowly see yourself now. Just take some of the water into your hands and have it fill you from the top of your head. Spill it forth like a love shower. Just take another cupful in your hands and feel the water shine upon you as you release it above your head. And say, I bless you. I love you. Thank you, Source. Thank you. Thank you, my lover. I love you, my lover. I love you. And taking the essence of the sea of love within your heart now, simply see yourself walking out of the water. And standing in all your glory, completely naked, in body, soul, and spirit. You are free. You are beautiful. It's now time for you to go shine your light and be who you really are, with God as your lover beside you, knowing that God is always with you and within you. And in any moment you feel anything less than this, you can simply return to this moment, to this sea of love, and immerse yourself with God as your lover. And just see yourself now as you are back in this room that you're in. Take yourself a deep breath. And just start to come back now with the lightness in your heart of the beautifulness of your spirit, with the love of God within you, shining forth. And you are refreshed and light, feeling yourself more and more in your body physically, feeling your feet in your body starting to awaken again, more back here, more and more here, right here now, coming more awake and back with the rest of us here in the group. Start feeling yourself back here, knowing that you are here. You are love. You are light. Welcome back. Welcome back here to this earth. When you're ready, open your eyes. Be blissed in peace and joy, calmness, who you are. Welcome back, everyone. Hope everyone has made it back. Smiley face there. If anyone will open it up now to the satsang discussion as everyone's starting to come back. If anyone has anything that they would like to share about the meditation or any questions that we have or any comments or anything, please feel free to share. I will also just put this out there that Light says thank you for the wonderful meditation. Thank you very much for participating in it, Light, and you're very welcome. I'll also put this out there that when I say God or Source or Spirit, we have a vision because of what Michael Beckwith talks about as religiosity or religion, indoctrinated religion, has us believe that God is some sort of anthropomorphic anthropomorphic being that sits up there in the clouds, and if we don't behave, we get conditional love cast upon us, and we are smited, and we have to be good little boys and girls. That's not God, and that's not the God I ever refer to. The God I'm speaking of is this source energy that we emanate from, and that we all are, and is with us and within us always. That is that source of love. It can go through many names, but that's what I'm referring to when I speak of the word God, not the indoctrinated religion type of God. And Lady Di said, yes, wonderful moments. Good. I'm glad. Our number one relationship, again, is to be in love with you. And then intertwined with that is, in love with God, in love with Source, in love with all that is that created you. We created ourselves from this, Source energy, being in love with that. And then from that, we can choose, if we so choose to have relationships. We're always relating in some form or another. Whether it's just a smile that we give someone as we're walking down the street, that's a form of relating, a relatingship, a relationship. So we have relationship on many different levels and many different layers here on this earth. So it can be something as simple as giving a smile to someone as we're walking down the street. That's a form of relating or relationship. And within that, we also have other relationships, acquaintances, friends, family who we have relationships with, a romantic relationship, all these different layers of relating ships or relationships, our ships being together in some form or fashion. In all of these relating ships, though, whatever you so choose, whether it's romantic or otherwise, as someone in my life has been known to say, no man ever owns a woman. So none of us ever own each other. I have 3 children myself. I call them my boys, but I do not call them my boys in the sense of that they are mine as in a possession. They are simply on loan, as it were. They came through me from Source, and our relatingship or our relationship as a son and mother is simply one of being in that sea of love, where we are sharing our whole perfect completeness with one another, in relating to one another. But I do not own my children. They are simply God's gift to me that came through me for me to share and experience with while I'm here on this earth. And so all of our relating ships, whether it's with God, ourselves, or with each other, are to be in that space of never owning or possessing one another, just simply being in that space of love and loving one another and being love and being loving. And so if there's anything that anybody else would like to ask or add or say, please feel free now to share that, and we have that open for anything that anyone wishes to share. And while we're waiting for anyone to, share, I'll also put this out there that we do this every Tuesday evening, right here on the Our Ascension website, and it is something that we do every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. East Coast time. And Lady Di said, I've been in process for about a week longer, but a week I am more aware. That is awesome. That's wonderful that you are becoming more and more aware. Awareness is a very key part of the journey, and it's something that's also an ever-evolving process. I've talked about weekly in meditation before here, and it bears repeating since you're bringing it up now. Enlightenment is not a place to get to. Awareness is not a place to get to. We don't all of a sudden become enlightened or become aware and that's it. We've reached the pinnacle and we've arrived and that's it. No, it's an ever-evolving process. And anyone who tells you that they've arrived, run. Really, is what I say kind of jokingly. They may have arrived and they may have arrived to a certain place or state, yes, but we're ever evolving in our process. So it's something that we are always going to the next level, as it were. And so awareness is very important along the journey. The awareness, Lady Di says, the awareness is that the issues are about my twin flame. So this meditation was powerful and painful one at times too. LOL. Yes, I understand that all too well on the journey, more than you know, actually. It's interesting that you say that because the issues with my twin soul have also come to light as well. And we are going through a shift in a process as well. And it is, brought me back into this space because 4.5 years ago is when he came into my life. Before that, I was in this space of God is my lover. And I've been questioning why he's actually coming into my life because he has made it poignantly clear, supposedly, that we're not in a relationship and he's not in love with me and, has walked away from me now in the last couple of days. And we kind of have very limited contact right now. And so it's interesting because I've questioned myself as to, what was the point of him coming into my life to stir up all this twin flame and romantic relationship within me, only to turn around and deny me, in relationship all this time. And, there was no point because I was already in that place of God is my lover 4.5 years ago. And before this, for years before this, I was in this space. And so I understand that completely. And, you and Maya, many of you put the pieces of this in this last week and you figured that. You said, now I have the chills and my messages is carrying the torch with me. Exactly, Lady Di, very true. Renee, you said, it seems that the painful relationships teach us the most and they are the ones that are to be the closest to carry with you, Lady Di said. Yeah, actually, it is through the human experience of pain that we come into the light that we are. And so I'm quite aware that that's the reason, that he's in my life and being in my life, and carrying the torch, exactly. Recently, in the last couple of days, just to share with you, and excuse me if I get a little emotional because I've been going through some stuff too. Thank you, Renee. Bless you too. In carrying that torch, I was about ready to do the second video in the series of videos that... sorry, I need just a second. I was about to do the second video in the series of videos that I have going on YouTube right now about the twin soul journey. And Lady Di said, holding you, as we are all here together for the same reason. Kisses and hugs. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. As much as I am healing to you, you two are healing to me. We are all here together for each other. And I appreciate that. Thank you. And as I was preparing to do this, there is a song that my beloved and I created together in the first, and I was going to speak about this in this new video. And I still plan on doing the video. I just needed this last couple of days to process some things, I guess. But this song is called I Am We Are. And through our letters with one another, he had written to me and said to be there as a portal for the song for us to sing together. And I have our letters, and on his YouTube page that I created, we also did another song a few months after that called Where There Is Love, and I actually helped him out with the lyrics. Now, I don't claim any copyright on it. I don't want any credit for it, and the Where There Is Love video, in the video description it specifically says that. The fact that we co-created it together that way was enough for me. I don't want any credit on it. I don't want to say we co-wrote it together or anything else. The fact of the matter is that we just shared this together, and we did it energetically with I Am We Are. And then when he sent it to me, he did all the writing, I will say that, totally publicly, he did all the writing of it, he created it, but it was our energy together that did so, and our letters reflect this. And so what happened was, when he sent me that song, intuitively, I just knew what to do. And so I had gone downstairs into my spiritual center, and I recorded my voice, and I melded our voices together and had sent it to him. And Renee says it simply was, "Oh, my love, my world is you." Exactly. Totally. And I recorded our voices together, and we sound so amazing. So amazing together in this song, and it's a very simple song, and it's very beautiful, and it evolves around exactly what we've been doing in meditation here today and also last week. The lyrics are, "I am love, I am light, I am beautiful, I'm inspired, we are the light to change the world, and thank you, light, hugs as we are one," Light said. And once I recorded it and I sent it to him with a message that said, "Boy, do I have a surprise for you." And a couple of days later, we were on the phone together, and he said to me, "I just knew you were going to do that. Intuitively, I knew you were going to do that. In my heart, I knew you were going to do that." And he had written back to me also saying that, it would be a pleasure to sing this in a duet with me. So as I was preparing for this second video, to record onto YouTube, I received the message from God, from Source, that this video was now to come out. Now, of I Am We Are, of us singing together. Now, I attempted to create a video for it 4 years ago when we first did this, and I published it up on my own personal YouTube page, the one I have all my videos on, because at that time, we were using my YouTube page as our YouTube page together. We were doing both. We hadn't created a YouTube page yet, for our stuff. And when I did this, he got very angry. And the reason that he got very angry, and I understand it, is because the music is his life. He's never really co-created with anyone. He has written all of his own music since he was a little child. And so it triggered something emotional within him that made him feel that I was somehow trying to take something away from him. And because of what he went through with his divorce with his former wife, he feels that she took things from him as well. And so it triggered all of this emotion within him, and he immediately stopped the video 4 years ago and proceeded to write YouTube claiming copyright infringement. And that really hurt me. And so I was forced to take down the video. And so now, 4 years later, it was coming back up again. And I know this is the next step for us. His brother, his in spirit, he died 6 years ago. And his uncle and his grandmother and all the angels who know about us have been around me the last few days, and I knew it was in preparation for this and that I was to release the video again. So I went and created a new video, put it up on his YouTube page, and it's on there right now, publicly launched. But he again got very angry with me, and has since basically said that he doesn't want to have contact with me anymore. And it's been very hard for me because I know we need to grow, and I know this is our next step, and I'm not trying to take something from him. It's just simply a co-creation together, and the video reflects that. It has our letters, in the video description showing that, and, I specifically say in there, I don't want any, credit for it, because that's not what it's about. It's a song that's very much like We Are the World. It's to, go viral, and it's to, help humanity, for the love and light that we are, all of us. And, it has, wait a minute, like Lady Di wrote, it has a name called Soul Shock. So don't explain your actions. Thanks. I appreciate that. Renee said, tears for you. But he cannot take away all those moments of oneness. No, he can't. And that's the thing. You're right. It will never leave him, you wrote. And it's forever etched in his heart, and I know that just as much as he knows that. And Lady Di said, it's really about the issues that triggered him, triggered you. You are the same person in its terrific pain. I know you know. Yeah, I do know. We share the same soul. And I know he's hurting over this, because what happened in the process of this is that when I tried to walk away from him back in October last year, he had my video up on his website, and he has some pictures that I took of him of Sedona when we did the Sedona gig together on his website, and I asked him to take them down, and he never did. And so because he got so triggered by this video, he said, well, I'll take down the video and the pictures off my website, if you take down the I Am We Are video. And I'm not a destroyer. I went through that. I destroyed things, and did some stupid things over the last 4 years that I regret. I do. And I'm sorry for those things. But at the same time, I've grown from that, and I'm not a destroyer, and I'm not going to destroy those videos. I'm not going to destroy his website. I'm not going to destroy all those things. They're still up there. They're still public. And if he wants them destroyed and he's going to go do something about it, then let him. But I'm not going to be the one who does it. It will be him. If he's going to do it, then he can do it. 5 months, Lady Di said, 5 months I am apart from mine now. Yeah, I know. We see each other intermittently when he deems necessary. It's very conditional love, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do all this. I wasn't planning on... I don't do this normally. I don't break down like this. It's okay, Lady Di said. Yes, do not destroy. It's okay. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, Lady Di. I have been this way for a long time, 7 days. I came to this head and I'm crying too. Yeah. It's not been easy. And I've been just the whole time being who I am, and he tries to tell me that I'm not his princess, yet I have love letters from him saying that I am. He calls me delusional, and there's been so many things that have happened in the last 4 years between us, and it's just been extremely hard. He's in fear. Yeah, I know. He's in fear for a lot of reasons. He has a lot of pain within him. And there's a song that reflects it, and I just did a video about it for him. It's called Make a Way. That's on the YouTube page that we created of his music. And that song is very much about the two of us and what we've been through, and it's also about all the pain that he carries besides me of things that have happened in his life, and I know that. They are called Runner's Princess. Yeah, no kidding. It's not about the things he says. I know. I saw that. Yeah, totally. I know, and that's the phase that I was going to get to in the video series on YouTube. I have the 8 stages, the 8 phases, and it's in my book, and being the runner dynamic is true, and I've done my own running too. It's a true word, Lady Di says, really. Okay, good, yes, I do, totally. I ran too. I mean, how many times I've said to him, I've said,
I literally, F you, he said that to me too. I've got text messages from him even the other night when, he went and took down the video. I then said, I shot back and said, well, you forgot to take down the pictures. And he texted back, F you. And, a part of me has to laugh at it too because, and the horse you rode in on, exactly, LOL. Totally. How many times have I said that? But I've done my own running too. I mean, it started way back, 4 years ago. That night in August, 4 years ago, about this time actually. I basically said, I'm done. I can't do this with you. I'm leaving. Goodbye. And he wrote back and said, there are no goodbyes in love. And I just sat there and I was just like, part of me was going, damn you, because I knew he was right. Oh yeah, chills on that one. Yeah, totally. We are still definitely in 3D. You know what? It's a walking between the worlds. It's being in 3D, and it's also being in the multi-dimensions. And I know that's part of the issue too. Because both he and I are very multidimensional, and I've been bringing myself down into the 3D realm to try to help him, to help, heal things with him, and it's been very hard, and so I've been releasing into that God space as God is my lover. Today, because it was like, okay, if you're going to ignore me and choose conditional love, the one who I know who's always my lover and who is always there for me is God, is Source. And yet I know somehow, some way, all of this has got to shift, because the shift that we are in right now, it's all of this heavy gravity stuff, we can't take it with us. We're not meant to take it with us. All of this has got to be released. It feels like quicksand, Light says. Yeah, it does, I do not want to. You do not want to what, Renee? I do not want to what? I was reading before I came. It is time for self to know us better. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to take it with you. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to take it with me either. And I've been releasing it in layers, and I've been telling him, stop holding on to this stuff, because he's holding on to stuff. The two main things he's holding on to is, something stupid that I did, and also the fact that he believes that he's on this mission, and because he's on this mission, to help bring us all into the awakening, that he somehow can't be with me. And I've told him straight out, and I didn't, to be apart from them. Exactly. You've been reading that it's time for us to know each other better and to be apart. We're never apart. That's the thing. We're never apart. There is no separation. Our hearts are linked in a place beyond our sights. And so we're never apart. But it's very hard. And, at the same time, I told him straight out, there is no mission that is so important on this earth that has us forsake love for it, in being with the one that we love. There never is any mission. And, this may sound cruel, and I didn't mean it to be cruel, but I said it straight out in love. He's a man with a guitar, and he's on a mission. Yes, we all are on a mission. No one's mission is any more important than anyone else's, and it should never be a reason to not be with the person that you love. And, it's really... Jack is a doctor, and he's off saving the world. He does research, same story, his mission. Yeah, and it's important, because the masculine, divine masculine, is to have a mission, okay? And that mission is to come before anything else. And I totally get that, okay? That's who the divine masculine is, and that is okay. And that's totally fine, and I'm okay with that. Okay, but to forsake all others in not being with the woman that you love because of your mission, That's not okay. And I even told my beloved, I said, look, God doesn't even do that. God does not forsake us. God doesn't say, hey, guys, I'm busy. I can't be with you. I can't be in a relationship with you. I can't be with you because I'm off doing my mission as God. No. Exactly. Yes. Right. But their mission is true. And how do they, do this stuff? They do their mission through us, through the divine feminine. Without us, the divine feminine being that light of love that they take in, they're not able to do their mission. And that's the missing piece to the puzzle, if you want to call it a missing piece, that the divine masculine is having trouble with at this point, is that they're unable to see that they need us as much as we need them. It's in balance. They can't seem to get it back, only give it back. Yeah, and that's the other thing. This is a give universe. I wish I could put into words here, Lady Di says, I was reading the night before, searching for a week for that knowledge. See, all this knowledge that you're saying that you're reading, it's in my book, my fourth book, which he also got angry with me about, because my fourth book that I published is called Beloved Troubadour. And it is our love letters and our journey as twin souls, but it's also the divine wisdom of the divine feminine and the divine masculine in twin soul relationship. And he got angry with me, so much so that he called the cops on me because I published this book. Okay. Why? Because in it are our love letters. Why? Because he doesn't want to admit to himself about this, he says he's got this mission, and because I did this, and because, did this stuff to hurt him, and because of this mission, that he will never be together, is what he says. And it's like, you know what? Come on. This is time to wake up and get out of this heaviness. We don't need this. We're not supposed to take this with us. And, our mission is just as much him and his individual mission as it is ours together. And he even texted me, one time, and I still have the text message, that I'm his Ricky. And he was referring to Ricky Beckwith. Michael and Ricky Beckwith, are kind of like, they are us. We are them. They have their individual missions and they do their own individual stuff, but then they also have their stuff that they do together. And that's the essence of the twin soul relationship. And I talk about all of this and write about all of this in Beloved Troubadour. And, Lady Di says, chills. Well, I don't think you think it's so funny that twin flames are running at this moment in time. No, I don't. The core essence is oneness. He is thinking with the wrong brain. Yeah, exactly. I knew you meant to say something else, but I know what you mean. The core is oneness, and the core is co-creation, and you put, yup, exactly, nods from Lady Di. Yeah, no, I don't think it's funny that he's running, and I did my own running, but I've now come into a space where I'm no longer running, and I'm no longer running from myself, I'm no longer running from him, I'm no longer, chastising him or hurting him or myself. I'm in that space of divine love. I'm, ready to totally embrace him. And the other night, I said to him, look, if you feel you can't be with me, then let me go and take down the pictures and take down the video. And what does he do? He posts on his private YouTube page a Sacred Path video, which is about exactly what we're talking about, the Sacred Path union, the twin soul reunion, right? And, I'm just sitting there, I'm going, okay, that's your answer to, don't let me go. And then it's like, okay, but then he goes and destroys, his website of pictures and video the other night and says, and all this whole entire time I'm text messaging him saying, I bless you, I love you, you're amazing, you're awesome. And he even did something which was really funny. It's the little boy in him. Oh, it totally is. It's the little boy in him that's afraid, and it reminds me of this little boy who, and I've talked about this in Meditation Satsang here before. I'll share a story with you about a little boy named Nathan.
In my former life, I always like to say, I used to teach, and I taught public and private school, basically preschool all the way up to grade 3. And my last teaching job, I was teaching reading, and I had a little boy named Nathan. Awesome, yeah. Keep blessing him. I did this 20 years ago, still blessing him. Exactly, Renee, exactly. This is where I got the inspiration to do this from, continuing to bless him, because Nathan was grade 3, but his reading level was actually, between kindergarten and grade 1, so when I got him, he would be classified nowadays if, we tested him or whatever, would have tested him, then he would be classified as ADD or ADHD. And so what happened is that he would often throw fits. He would kick me, he would scream at me, he would yell at me, he would call me names, he would use the F word, little 8-year-old kid, but he did. And he was just downright abusive in many ways. And one day Source had given me the message just to take him and hold him, just to grab him, not grab him, but, just hold him in my arms. And he was flailing about, kicking and screaming and let me go, and I hate you, and, all this stuff. And I was just holding him, and I kept just saying to him over and over again, it's okay, I love you, you can do it, it's okay, I love you, you can do it. And I just kept saying this like as a mantra over and over and over again. And, he kept kicking about and screaming and, for the longest time, what seemed like forever. And then finally he just kind of let out this, this big sigh and release and just started sobbing and sobbing and sobbing and just crying and crying and crying uncontrollably. And I can't do it, through his tears. And I kept holding him, and I was caressing his face and, his hair, and just saying, it's okay, Nathan, I love you, you can do it, I know you can, all this stuff just over and over again. And after that day, he excelled in reading. By the time I left that job, which was just a few months later, he was actually grade 5, almost grade 6 reading level, which is like, wow, right? Core stuff. Yeah, totally, Renee. Totally. Light says, blessings, in the end, there is only love. Exactly. Fantastic, Lady Di says. Yeah, totally. And, it was totally beautiful. And so that's how I got the inspiration. And I have the text messages sitting here on my phone right now. I mean, the whole time he was lashing out at me, I have text messages from him saying he's going to call the cops on me. This was, night before last, and that he's going to contact our group. We have a local group here, and he's going to contact the leaders of the group and have me kicked out of the group, which of course would never happen. And he's going to form a logic complaint with YouTube, and all this stuff. But the whole time he was lashing out at me and telling me that he was going to do all this stuff, I just kept writing, I bless you, I love you, I honor you, you're amazing, you're beautiful, you're God, is all I kept text messaging him back. And at one point I even text messaged him and said, you're incredibly sexy, because he is. And I just couldn't help it. LOL, Lady Di wrote, and that's why he's still doing so much. Yeah, I know. And so I when I text messaged him and said, he's incredibly sexy, he wrote back, sexy, ? What do you want to do to me? And I thought, okay, he's finally lightening up. So I wrote back in response of what I wanted to do. I want to bring you to the message I got, the torch. You threw him off course. Of course, Renee said, LOL. Yeah, Lady Di, of course, right? So I text messaged him back. I, said, I want to hold you. I want to make love to you. I want to be there with you. So what does he do? He lashes back out and says, oh, well, sexual harassment via electronic message is really good. I can use this with the cops. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I was laughing at that point, because I'm thinking, okay, if you take this text message to the cops, they're going to see the text message from you that says, sexy, what do you want to do with me? Knowing that you baited me, and they're going to laugh you off the face of the earth. Exactly. See, Lady Di,
You wrote in, they will laugh at him. Exactly. Light says, oh boy, LOL. Serious temper tantrum, Renee said. Yeah, totally, you guys. Okay. He was totally having a temper tantrum. And he's done this with me before. With our friends, he's accused me of infiltrating his friends. Never mind that there are mutual friends, and had temper tantrums about that. And the whole time, and I've been doing this with him all the time, not just last night or the night before. I will do this all the time, just saying, you're beautiful. I love you. You're amazing. You're God. Just over and over again, right? Being that space of total unconditional love. Now, yes, I've had my moments off and on. We're human. We're in human experience. There have been moments I've lashed right back out at him, when he's been acting like that. I've turned around and said, look you're acting this way. I've also tried the philosophical spiritual approach with him too. I've come to the point where I'm just sitting there in this space of total love right now and going, you know what? I can be nothing other than this. I can be nothing other than your princess. If you're going to lash out at me, then so be it. If you're not going to be with me, then so be it. But I'm still your princess. That's just the way it is. Lady Di said, now you have to do this in the spiritual realm. The torch has a meaning. Do you know what the violet flame is? Yes, I do. Transmute, transmute, transmute. Yes, Renee says. I know all about it, and I know exactly how to use it, and I use it all the time. And I totally do know. Yeah, and I use it all the time. I'm glad you're learning. You're learning. Tell you how it works. Basically, it is the essence. What the violet flame is consistent of is the essence of the red flame, which is the flame of compassion, love, passion, forgiveness, with the blue. Now, I will also say this is the way Source has given it to me. There's many forms out there you can read about. They may say it differently, but this is what's being given to me, okay, that I know about. I had the pain. The pain is terrific. Yes, I know. But the essence of the red flame and the blue flame, which is the essence of the spiritual voice and also of the third eye, and that is what combines together to make the violet flame. And the violet flame is the flame of transmutation. Anything, it's kind of like Archangel Michael's sword, and Archangel Michael is very key with my beloved and I too, for many reasons. Archangel Michael's sword of light, it will transmute and cut through anything that is what we would call not of love. Any fear, any pain, any hurt, any past hurts, any past lives, what we call past lives, even though all our lives are being lived right now at once. There are no such things as past lives. But anything that is of pain in that sense, to transmute it into love itself, into compassion, into peace, we are to utilize that flame. And also, I utilize the flame of the heart chakra, which is the core essence of the soul, and the core essence of twin flame or twin soul essence, which is also green, which also happens to be my beloved. His favorite color is green. And purple, or the violet flame, darker purple is usually my favorite color, but the purple and green are our favorite colors. So I utilize that all the time. And yours too, Lady Di? Awesome. Yeah, I've been purple my whole life. Totally. Nods, you said. Totally. And that's what it's really for. However, what I've come to understand is something that I've already known always in my heart, and that is that we can only be responsible for our half of the equation. And I talk about this in Rebuilding Relationships video on YouTube that I just did recently, about a week or so ago. We can only be responsible for our half. And we can only transmute our half and our part that we see within us, within our twin soul, and continue to be that space of unconditional love, even when they're throwing the storm at us, being that lighthouse. And it's up to them to do their half. We cannot do their half for them, and they have to want it. 9 months ago almost now, my beloved woke up one day and as he puts it, chose to take his vibrant health to the next level, and he stopped drinking. He had been drinking for many years. To him, he doesn't see himself as an alcoholic. He doesn't see that he had a problem. That's part of the denial process, and I know that. And I don't like labeling people like that either. But at the same time, it is what it is. And in the it is what it is mode, not as blame, not as lashing out at him or, being mean or judgmental, that's what it was. He was an alcoholic, and they say in the alcoholic recovery movement, you're always an alcoholic still, you're just recovering. But he stopped drinking. And I know with the same power that just had him wake up one day, he didn't go through, a 30-day detox process, although he did. I mean, he still had to detox from the alcohol as it was, over these months and stuff like that. Everybody goes through that when they go off caffeine or whatever substance, sugar, whatever. But he didn't go into a recovery program or anything of that nature. He just woke up one day and chose to do this. And so with that same choosing, I know he can choose to wake up the next morning and to let go of all of this that he's holding on to and to be with me. And it can be that simple. And the violet light, the violet flame of transmutation will help with that. However, it's just that it's going to happen when it's time. Lady Di says he could just still be following those patterns. Yes, Al-Anon tells you that. Yes. And I've shared that with him actually many a times. It's an indoctrinational programming within him. And it has to do with things that have happened in his childhood. And his teen years and stuff, which I won't divulge here, because only he and I know about that, and so no one else on this earth does. I will not share that. But it's those things that has been indoctrinated in him that has him, repeating the cycle, and you can't do that for him. Exactly. No, I can't do that for him. I have a history in those circles. Might be time for him to get help with the pro. It's funny that you say that, because his text messages with me have been lashing out at me, which I, in essence, have told him he's lashing out at himself. He's saying that I'm delusional and I'm the one who needs to go get professional help. And I reminded him that when he's saying that, he's judging me. But he's really judging himself, and he's really saying that about himself. And it is a cycle. It totally is. That is the way the person with the problem speaks, really. Exactly. You need help, not me. Exactly. Yeah. And that's what he's been doing. And again, I'm not saying all of this is, I'm not blaming him or, trying to judge him or chastise him or anything. This is just what is. This is what has been going on. This is what has been happening. And I've I've kept this really to myself. I don't really share it with anyone. This is really the first time I've come out publicly like this with this. I don't normally say this in our group locally here. There's been stirrings about it, and I've just kind of kept to myself, and I haven't really said anything. Too late. Hugging you tight. Thank you. I appreciate that. It all just kind of came flooding out of me. I wasn't expecting that to happen at all. I wasn't going to say any of this tonight. This was not in my realm of thought, and it just came flooding out. So obviously there was a reason that I had to say it, and I needed to speak it. Renee says, well, thank you for honoring us with the sharing. Thank you for listening. And thank you for being here. I appreciate it very much. Because it's not been an easy path to not say anything, and then the moments that I have said things, people have lashed out at me because they've believed his story that he tells everyone. In fact, a gentleman who I mentor here locally, he ran into him a couple of weeks ago, and this man messaged me and said, I ran into your beloved, and I'd like to share with you what he told me. And I was in pain that night. I was dealing with my liver and having some issues with it in my health, and
Thank you so much. Light says, since it heals all of us. Yeah, it does. And I know that's why I meant to share this. And he gets angry with me for sharing and coming out publicly because he thinks I'm slandering him. I'm not trying to slander him. I'm sharing with you guys because I know it heals you too. And it helps you because I know you guys are probably going through similar things, and you've said so. Lady Di, not expecting that, but it was really great. No, I wasn't expecting it either. And you're all saying yes, thank you. I'm not, I know you guys understand this, but for anyone else who listens to this on archive, has to know I'm not doing this to slander him. I'm doing this for my own healing as much as it is for him and his healing, and because I know you guys are going through similar things, and to let you know you guys aren't alone, and that we can shift this into the light. There's been a lot of healing and a lot of layers. We have healed a lot of things over the last 4.5 years between us. This is kind of just the last piece of the puzzle, I guess, and the hardest, it seems. It is part of healing, and I know that I have to share it. I can't keep it all inside anymore because I have been. Because the few times that I've tried to come out, like this gentleman who he saw a couple of weeks ago who messaged me, I flat out told him, I said, look I can almost tell you word for word exactly what he said to you. He's got his script down so well, as a former friend of mine said about him. And, I basically verbatim told him, he probably told you this. He probably told you we're not in a relationship. He's not in love with me. I'm delusional. I'm a stalker because I showed up at his place one time, unannounced. But yet he has me at his concerts and he has me do work for him and everything else, right? There's so much to this. It's not even funny. And he messaged me back saying, we would talk later, and we ended up, seeing each other because I did a mentoring session with this gentleman, and he said to me, he said, pretty much what you said to me is exactly word for word what he said to you, or what he said to me. And I know that. And Renee said, I spent 30 years in therapy, 25 years addicted to prescription narcotics. I was crazy. I walked away from it all on my own, healed myself. I'm proud of you. That's awesome. I'm very proud of you. That's fantastic that you were able to do that. And I can't even, I'll say it publicly here now, I can't even tell you how proud I am of him that he finally did stop drinking, because I know that, the process that we're going through right now is dealing with all the pain of the things that he didn't deal with that had him drink. I totally know that. And I'm so proud of him for finally doing it. And he did it. I said to him, I said, you did it for yourself. And he basically said, no, I did it because, it was what I was called to do. Okay. Similar thing, in my eyes, to me, he did it for himself. And I never wanted him to do it for me. Anyone who's, recovering from that, you want to do it for yourself. You want to do it, because it's what you feel called to do in your spirit. And Renee said, I'm now thankful for my thorns because it made me who I am now. Yeah, totally. Totally, I agree with you. And, Lady Di says, you need to see your part in his circle of this dynamic. Try to read on the family groups. Yeah, I know what my part is being in it. I know what my part is being in it. Part of it was enabling him, because, and I said this to someone just recently, I did some things that enabled the situation. So then stop saying you are not putting him down. That's the answer. That is to answer him. We know that. Hugs. Yeah, thank you. And I know you know that. I'm not. You love him? We know. I know you do. I love him. I can't even put into words how much. Lady Di said, I love him too. I know. I know.
The twin soul reading showed me we cannot be kept apart. I know that too. I know we can't be kept apart. Renee said you were trying to heal his inner child. He will get it at some point. Yeah, I was. And it's interesting you say that because I have letters between us back a few years ago in which I wrote that to him. I said that I was to come back home here because there was a time that I wasn't, I had left being home here for a time, and I had told him that I was to come back home here because I was to help heal his heart, and he wrote back something like, so be it, or, yes, that's true, or something to that effect. And I know he knows that. But I cannot put us together. It's what to do while I'm waiting. Exactly. Yeah, I know. I was healing his inner child, and I know I'm still doing that spiritually. I mean, I know we're connected. I always feel him. Earlier, he was sending me, and I actually, in a fit myself because I was frustrated, I text messaged him and said, stop telepathically sending me your song, I'm here, because I knew he was, because I feel him, we feel each other, LOL, Lady Di says. Yeah, I mean, we do that all the time. We send each other messages like that telepathically. I feel him with me all the time, and I know as I'm doing this that his brother Danny's with me, and his grandmother, and his uncle, and his parents, and all of them. They're all with me. Archangel Michael, they're all with me. I call them the cavalry. And I always tell him I fight with the strongest weapon there is, love. And I do. I love him. And I talked about this in my video too, where I lost a very dear friend, someone who I considered one of my best friends because of this situation, because she got to the point where she couldn't understand. She basically lashed out at me and told me that he's no good for me and that I should just get him out of my life, and he's this and he's that, and she said she would no longer support me if I chose to continue to be with him, and I took a stand for him and said no. I said, if that's the way you're going to be, then we just won't be friends. I wish you well, because unconditional love never makes you choose. And when I told him about that, that's exactly what he said. He said, friends don't make you choose either or, unconditional love doesn't do that. And, I lost her as a good friend. She came back into my life just recently through him because I changed my phone number a few months ago, and the only way she would have gotten it was through him. And so he gave it to her, and she text messaged me a couple of times. But the bottom line is that unless she's willing to accept that he's in my life, I'm not going to, we can't. There's no way we can rebuild that relationship, unless she's willing to come and meet me halfway. And so I know that, in all of this, that all of this is to be released and to be let go of, and I can only do my part and release what, with the violet flame, with Archangel Michael and the cavalry here, and with you all here, release all of this and, just keep being love and loving him. And he will eventually come to that space, where he wakes up the next morning and there it is. And I thank you all for this. I'm sorry, like I said, I wasn't expecting this at all. But obviously it was needed. Let's see, dot to dot to dot. We are joining the cavalry with you, me, Light, and Renee. Thank you, Lady Di. I cried right there with you. Thank you, Lady Di. Light joining in. Sing it. Yeah, exactly, right? Because I know we have so much that we can do together, in singing it. We have a mission and a purpose, and this, I know what we're doing right now is all part of it, right? But at the same time, we have other things that we can do, and I Am, We Are is up there, and it's going to stay up there, because it's a message that needs to be heard. The tones of the song, kissing by bliss, have been healing me. Awesome. Thank you, Lady Di. Hardest mission, though. Yeah, it is. Don't you know it? Exactly. It is the hardest mission. And actually, that's one of the things that, I write about in Beloved Troubadour. The twin soul union, the twin soul relationship is the most difficult relationship, but it's also the most beautiful, because it's the most beautiful space of unconditional love that we can ever be. And we're meant to be this in our last life, and we are in our last life, my beloved and I, and we are to, get this. And, I'm not supposed to, the truth of the matter is, I'm not supposed to die. I mean, I'm terminal. They've told me I'm terminal, and I've been fighting the doctors off, basically. And I haven't, I'm still here. And, I'm not supposed to. He's supposed to. The doctors are not right. Yeah, I agreed, Lady Di. They're not. At the same time, I've been terminal since the age of 28. Seriously. Oh, I believe it. I do. They basically told me they should have diagnosed me with this since I was a child myself, because I've been chronically ill my whole life, from physical standpoint. Renee says, yeah, me crazy. Yeah, I know. They label us with all of these things, and it's because of my belief in the opposite of that, that I'm still here, and I've defied the doctors. I totally know that. I've died 11 times and come back too. The last one, the most significant one was in '05 when they cut my artery. I bled out. Renee said, "Me too." Yeah, so I've been there, and I know I'm not supposed to go. And the truth of the matter is that he has the power to actually heal me. He's the only one who can, because he's my twin soul, and he's afraid of that responsibility. He's in fear of that too. He's afraid of that power. He's fought me for the last 3.5 years out of the 4.5 years. He's fought me about being a leader and stepping into being a leader, and it's taken him now to stepping into being the leader in the last 8 months or so. Lady Di says, "I read your story, Princess, so I know about your health. It's an amazing story." Thank you. I appreciate that. And, he knows that he has that ability. I've had other healers come to me and say, "Oh, here, I'll send you some healing energy and whatever." And I'm like, bless you, and I love you, and I appreciate it. But I know what our soul agreement is, and I know what he is to do. And just like he's fought me about being a leader, he's fought me about songs too. When songs come through him, and I know him and his music, and I know his every breath and heartbeat so much that, I know when something's off. And one of the songs that's on his YouTube page called "It's for Love," when that song came through him, it was off. And I told him so, and he loves me for it, because he knows that I know him that well. And but yet he fought me on it and said, "Oh, it's beautiful, it's perfect as it is. I can't do any better." Blah 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 blah. I mean, fought me via text message and email, ranting and raving. Having his little tantrum, right? And then 24 hours or so later, I get a text message from him that says, "You're right. I'm reworking it." And I was just like, you know what? To me, it's not about being right, but okay, because I'm not self-righteous. But I basically said, thank you. And when he rewrote it and he reworked it, it was fucking phenomenal, and I knew it would be. And, and I told him so, and I kept saying to him, because he thought I was, trying to be mean and cruel to him in some of the things I said to him. And I said, "No, I'm saying this to you because I know you are so much more than this. You can do better." And then when he sent me the revised song, he wrote to me and said, "So much for I can't do any better." So much for saying I can't do any better, which is what he said, right? And I was just like, LOL, So, he fights me every step of the way. But, at the same time, I'm still being that, unconditional love with him. And I'm still saying, look I know you can do better. I know you can do this. And I love you. And I'm here. And so, it's just this beautiful, journey. And Light says, I have to go. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you, Light, for being here. Love you very much. It's been wonderful having you. Thank you. Hugs to you, definitely. Very much so. Sending loves and hug, Renee says. Indeed, loves and hugs. So yeah, it is a beautiful journey, and that's it's just ever evolving process, and tomorrow I will awaken, and from physical awakening as it is, and I will do the second YouTube video, finally getting that out there, because it's time for that to happen. And I thank you all for tonight. I appreciate you. And change my name back to Nenari, Princess of the Sea. Oh, I did. My name, Carry the Torch. Yeah, my name is that. Actually, you're right. It's funny because I started doing that. Actually, I went back on a couple of my old videos. I did it with one. I need to do it with the rest of them. You're right. I am officially Nenari. I've been. My book is my second book. My first and second book is still published. In that. Renee says, I'm going to have to go too. If you need to get more out, contact me. Thank you, Renee. I appreciate you so much. I love you. Blessings. Carry the torch. Totally. Love to you all too. Love to you, Renee. Totally. My videos though, I can't unless I re-upload them, and I really didn't want to do that. So my older videos, basically I put those little, YouTube has those little annotation things or whatever. So I put those little annotation notes in there saying that, my name is that, it is. My name isn't my earthly name. I haven't been going by my earthly name. And that actually, it's interesting you say that too, Lady Di. Thank you for confirmation on that. Because one of the text messages that he text messaged me when he was lashing out the other day at me, he said that I've been living in a fantasy world most of my life. Do I want proof of that? Look at the fact that I call most people by their spiritual names. Now, I deal with hundreds of people every day. I have chills right now. Yeah, I knew you would. I deal with hundreds of people every day. And there is but a handful of maybe 5 or 6 people that I call by their spiritual names. And I wrote this to him in an email to him, that just because I call people by their spiritual names doesn't mean that I'm delusional or in some fantasy world. I explained it to him this way, and I made reference to it also in my videos. Madonna is Madonna. Prince was formerly known as Prince. He was the symbol for a while. Even our mutual friend, she's more an acquaintance than she is a friend to me, but a mutual friend of ours, and yes, the symbol, yeah, she's laughing, LOL, Lady Di. A friend of ours calls herself by her spiritual name of Suki, rather than her actual earthly name, and I honor that and respect it and call her that, and so does my beloved, and so does everyone else. Does that mean she's delusional because she calls herself that, or if she chooses to call other people by their spiritual names? No. It just means that we call each other by our spiritual names. That's all it is, because that's where we resonate. Our resonance is in that multidimensionalness of our spiritual names. Just like, I'm sure Prince wouldn't like it if you called him, something else that he didn't want to be called. Our soul signature name is the essence of who we are. And so, of course, why not sing your song, right? So thank you for saying that about changing my name back. It's not really changing my name back. It's already there. But thank you for saying that. And Lady Di said, from his pain, he will point fingers and say it's not him. So you don't have to explain it. Thank you. Yes, you are the princess. It is who you are. Yeah, I am. And I write about that in Beloved Troubadour. It actually started before he came into my life. I mean, since I was a child, my dad used to call me, from my earthly name, he used to call me Trisha, or Trishy, or Princess. And so I've always in this life been called the princess since I was little, and it goes even beyond that into other lives because, I'm Guinevere, in another life, and I've had many lives in which I've been, the princess. And so I am the princess and I am his princess. And he's written letters to me saying that I am his princess from all the way back in the beginning. And then he tried to deny those letters and say, well, that's not how it is, and whatever he wants to say in his denial. But the truth is, I am the princess and I am his princess, and he knows it. And as you've said, it's from his pain that he'll point the fingers, and I know that. And I am the angel, right? Exactly. You are. You very much are the angel. Totally. Jack called me Angel. Yeah, see, Jack calls you Angel. The other name that my beloved has for me is Precious. He's called me Precious, and actually I have a private email address between the two of us that I only use for him and I, and one other thing which I get daily of light mail from our dear friend Dale, but that email address is Precious Princess, in part is that. And so together, let's see, we together are Jack and Diane. Oh, I love it! I love it, John Cougar Mellencamp. Ooh, well, actually, I think he goes by John Mellencamp now, but I still call him John Cougar Mellencamp. Sorry. What can I say? Really, he never he never heard that song. And you said, "Oh yes, chills, Precious Princess." Yeah, he's called me Precious Princess. And he hasn't said that to me in a long time, and I miss it when he says that. But we were eating together the first time he heard the song, I swear. Oh, that's awesome. That's so awesome. See, it's those synchronicities, eh? It's those synchronicities. Lady Di says he is a surgeon, so he spent young years studying, knew little of those things. So that was, oh yeah, totally a synchronicity. That's those parallels and synchronicities that occur that has that he's your twin soul. I mean, totally, without a doubt. I know them very well. We've had many, 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 many between us, my beloved and I. I went to confirm it this last week, just because I was losing my mind. Have you seen my video then, Lady Di? The pain is terrific. The first one, yes. The first in the series, yeah. Have you seen that one? Yeah, then you'll know. That is what got me to start. Yes. Okay. You did watch it. Okay. Good. Good. I'm glad you did. Yeah, there's more to come in the process. Like I said, I will record and get up the second one, tomorrow. It's been a day of this, then a day of that. Yeah, I totally know. I do. I ran the group last Wednesday by accident. Yeah. I understand. I totally do. Yeah. I know. It's okay. I totally know. Yeah, I was the person, and so the torch has more meaning. It's time for me to learn more. Yes, it is. If you would like to, you can use all your gifts. Exactly. You know what? I mean that space too. And I guess that's what's hurting so much right now. Usually with the butterfly eats its weight. Wowzers, the chills, totally. A butterfly eats, what is it, 100,000 times its weight? I forget what the number is, so don't quote me on this. But it eats like all of the, many times its weight or whatever, just before it goes into the cocoon. As the caterpillar, and comes out to be the butterfly. And as it's emerging as the butterfly, some say that the butterfly feels pain when it's trying to break its way out of the cocoon. And that's kind of how I'm feeling right now, because I feel like I've been suppressed for so long with him holding me and holding us back from me being able to be his princess and being the princess and sharing and using all of my gifts and getting all of this out there. And, when I attempted to do that by publishing the book back in January, he called the cops on me and, it set me back and I didn't really jump into a space of fear, but I took a step back and basically shut my mouth. And I didn't say anything and I didn't do anything all this time. And yet all this time it's been building up in me and people keep coming to me and asking me about, twin soul relationships, and I've been mentoring people and they want to know more and I've been holding off putting out I Am We Are, and I've held off doing the videos and not being shining that part of me because what I figured he was going to do in lashing out, and what he did the other night, and you wrote, I used the butterfly last Wednesday to help them break the cocoon story. Oh my God, I wish Light and Renee were here. What is the cocoon story? Say it out loud. Do you know it? I don't know it by heart. I really don't. Helping the butterfly out. I know what you're referring to, but I don't know it by heart. Helping the butterfly out does not help the butterfly. Yeah, exactly. I agree. They have to, because the wings don't push the fluids back, he can't fly. Yes, exactly. You have to do it on your own. I know. And I don't know if maybe that's what all this is. I don't know. You're in tears. Maybe him lashing out at me is trying to propel me to do this. And Lady Di says I'm crying too. And I don't know. I just know that this started a couple of weeks ago with the first of 7 videos I did in this last 2 weeks or whatever. I woke up one morning and I had this divine inspiration, and part of it had to do with him, part of it had to do with a couple people who came to me, three people in particular who came to me for mentoring, and it just flowed through me like an avalanche, really, and all these videos just started coming, and I couldn't stop it even if I wanted to. As Wayne Dyer says, inspiration, you just can't stop it. It just has a life of its own. And Lady Di said, I have to get you to the page I was reading from before I came tonight, and let it settle on your heart. Yes, please. You can email it to me if you want, or message me on Facebook or whatever with it. That's totally fine. I would very much appreciate it. It just, all of these videos just started pouring out of me, and I would write to him and my beloved, and I would say to him, look, this is just pouring out of me. I can't stop it even if I wanted to. And it's like compelling me to do it. I have to get it out. I have to create it. I will find it. A week of searching for that. Yeah, indeed. Please do. It may be a site that I've been on before. I don't know. I'll have to see when you send it to me. But these videos are just coming through me. And then when this happened, when he tried to stop I Am We Are from coming out, and demanded that I delete all the videos, I told him via text message that I did, but I didn't. All I did was I put them, YouTube has a thing where you can put them under private, so I put them under private for the time being. And then earlier tonight, before I came on here, I said, you know what? No, it needs to be public, and I put them out there public again. And Lady Di said, it explains the time that twin flames must be apart was a real eye-opener. I have a YouTube account. Yeah, so yeah. We've spent a lot of time apart already. Been there, done it. I'm tired of it. Say that jokingly. I'm tired of it. I'm there with it. Yeah, you're there. I know you're there. But it's and both splits fast. Yeah, and you're on your second break. One day, a letter that says we are done. Yeah. How many times have we gone through that? We are done. time to stop. Yeah, I know. Hello. I know. I know. I've been there. Totally know. I know it very well. Cry every day. I know it well. Yeah, same here. But I'm not a weak person. No, Lady Di, you're not. And same here. Because it's not what's meant to be. We're not meant to be apart. So I had to find the answer. I did not understand there was a twin flame, but I called him my soulmate. Yeah, I know. A lot of people do because they don't understand and they don't know that it is the twin soul essence. And because I'm on the journey myself and I do have a deep understanding about it, and that's why I wrote the book, and that's why in January it had to come out, and I kept telling him, this is to benefit humanity. I'm not doing it to hurt you. And if you read the damn book, you will see I honor you in it, but you wrote, Lady Di, but before him, I never believed I had a soulmate, so that it shook me to the core. Yeah, I know. See, these next couple of videos, I'm going to speak about that because I had my twin soul, obviously, as you know from the first one, but for me, I know you need them. I know you do. I know you do, and that's why I'm going to do them. Yes, he left. Yeah, I know you need the videos, and I know you and so many do, and that's why I'm going to do them. But in the next set of videos, when I get to the runner dynamic and, the crisis and everything else of the stages, in which I started running and so did he, what you said, that you never believed that you had a soulmate and it shook you to the core. Yeah, it shook me to the core too. And my first reaction in ego was, oh, hell no, I'm not falling in love with you. Oh, hell no, this isn't my twin soul coming back. Oh, hell no, I'm not doing this. And I'll share the story about all that, in the videos. But yeah, I went through that. Ha ha ha. Yes, the mirror, Lady Di said. Yeah, totally. Totally. Yeah, I went through that totally. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And how I got it thrown in my face again and again that yes, he is your twin soul. And Lady Di said, and we would have a stupid fight. Yep, and I would think you just got upset about a thing I did, and you do this all the time. Yep, exactly. Yep, totally. That's exactly what's happening. Yep. I will deliberately, we are the same, Lady Di. Yeah, totally, we are. I went through the same thing. Yeah, and, even now, I got to the point where I wasn't deliberately picking fights with him because I was in fear anymore. I got to the point where I was picking fights with him because I knew it would help him to grow. And someone just posted a comment about this on my on my Facebook the other day about their husband, how she was saying about her beloved husband that she was giving too much to him or something like that. And I had responded back and said, yes, I know, and I learned from my former husband not to do that. So in this relationship, with my twin soul, I haven't been giving, although some would say I have given too much. But there are things that I haven't done, and that I would purposely pick fights with him to get him to grow. Like, for instance, what I shared earlier about the Into the Light song, I deliberately picked a fight with him because I was getting him to grow. I didn't do it out of fear. I didn't do it out of running. I didn't do it, to be mean or slandering him. I did it to help him to grow. And I lashed out at him in that format, picking a fight with him, a stupid fight. But yeah, it was, and it was to get him to grow. And I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was probably somewhere along the lines of, I can't believe you wrote this and it sucks, and, that kind of stuff, not trying to be mean, LOL, but, exactly, just picking a stupid fight to propel him to grow. And so I can't help but wonder if what he did the other night with this whole thing is trying to do the same thing with the butterfly to get me to finally come out with it regardless. Them is fighting words, LOL. Lady Di said, yeah, I know, them is fighting words. Maybe he picked a fight with you to make you grow. You are the same. I know. We are the same. We are the same soul. I can't help but thinking that that's the case, and in my heart of hearts, I'm hoping that that's the case, because I hear the peace coming over you. Thank you. Because I feel the peace coming over me. I also feel that, I have me too, Lady Di said. Thank you. I feel that I've text messaged him and I emailed him since, and I told him that the videos are still up, and he hasn't responded, and that's fine. But I do know that if he really wanted them down, he would do something about it. Lady Di said, I am sharing it also. Thank you. And so I can't help but think that maybe he did do it as a means to get me to grow, and that he's not going to go do anything. Because I did something the other night that I really didn't want to do, but it was also to help him grow. In part of me lashing out at him, picking that stupid fight, as we were just talking about, when he threatened me, saying that he would go to our group and try to get me kicked out of the group. We have a meeting, gathering coming up here on Sunday, and he had said that, he'll be there on Sunday, and I should bring my laptop, and the tribe will set me right, and all this other stuff, and there are letters that he's written to me that are somebody reading them, and I pointed this out to him in a very standing in a little bit of picking a fight, but in a very loving way at the same time, saying, I really don't want to go there with you. If you want to do this, this is a fighting ground that I don't want to go down. It's not a road I want to go. It's not a route I want to go down. But if you force me down this road, I will do this, and I will share these letters that you have written that. I won't reveal their contents here. I won't do that to him. But I will say this. If anyone were to read them, they would know he is quite, from an earthly standpoint, delusional. And I don't say that as a judgment. It's just some of the things that he's written to me, you really question, honestly. And I don't want to, don't go there, don't fight, and I don't want to fight. And I don't want to turn that, and our group is not about that. Our gathering on Sunday, it's not about that. It's not a fighting ground. And so I told him, I don't want to do that. So I said, if you're going to go, please just be civil with me. That's all I ask. And he had text messaged me yesterday and basically said, you go to the group. I just won't go. And that was the last time I heard from him, was yesterday morning, and that was fine. I don't want to go that route, at all, and that's not my intention, because that's not what I want to do. So I can't help but thinking that, maybe that's what he's doing is so that I will put this out there and grow, and that he's propelling me to do this, as the butterfly. I pray that that's what it is, because I don't want to go back down that route of where we were back in January, where he was calling the cops on me, and he threatening me to call the cops on me the other day. Lady Di says, we'll stay still for a time. God is our lover, and feel your next action. I am feeling my next action, and that's where I know that I'm meant to do the next video tomorrow. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about I Am We Are, because it's part of the journey. And I'll have the link for the video there, in the video description. And that's what I'm feeling called to do next. That's the next action to take. And I know that. So it's time. And this all had to happen tonight, I guess, for that to come into being. Because I have been being still the last day or so with all of this. And Lady Di says, chills. Carrying this torch has many meanings. Indeed, Lady Di. Indeed, it does. Many meanings. Many, many meetings. Yeah, I agree with you. Totally. Big smile. And thank you so much. I honor you and I appreciate you. because this is much for my healing and yours, and for everyone. Next time you will set up and be on cam. Yes, definitely. Indeed. Feel so much love for you at this moment. I feel so much love for you too, and thank you. And thank you to everyone who is listening to and will listen. I have it easy enough. I am just vain. LOL. Thanks, Lady Di. Giggles. Indeed. Awesome. And with that, I feel we're in a beautiful space of love, and we will call it an evening. And we will be here next week at same time, same bat time, same bat channel, as they say. And I give you all infinite love from my heart. And we shall keep the peace and send the follow-ups next time. Indeed. Love indeed. Much love to you. And have a blessed evening. Be love now, for that's who you are. Bye-bye.